here are some tips for keeping a thriving 10-gallon tank. But keep in mind that while the tank's total volume is 10 gallons, once you account for hardscape, plants, substrate and accessories, the actual swimming space is likely closer to 8 gallons. Let's begin with a tip about choosing the right plants. Many beginners look up easy aquarium plants and end up with generic lists featuring names like Anubias, Cryptocorenes, Echinodorus and Java Fern, without realizing these are entire genera rather than single species. As a result, they might buy larger varieties that quickly overtake a 10-gallon tank or need a lot of upkeep to stay manageable. For instance, in my 40-gallon tank, both plants shown belong to the Echinodorus genus. On the left is Echinodorus cordifolius, a variety that would overwhelm a 10-gallon tank. On the right is Echinodorus aquatica, a much smaller type ideal for more compact setups like a 10-gallon tank. Meanwhile, in my 12-gallon White Cloud Mountain minnow tank, I have Anubias nana on the left side with Anubias petite detail in the driftwood. Both are perfect for this tank size. In the back right corner, you'll find several narrow-leaf Java ferns which stay noticeably smaller than standard Java fern. To simplify plant selection, here's a list of suitable varieties of the popular plant genera that are easy to find and well suited for 10-gallon tanks. The next tip is that it's much easier to find suitable driftwood and rocks for a 10-gallon tank than smaller 5 to 7-gallon tanks, which are also popular with beginners. Although a 10-gallon is only slightly bigger, there's a noticeable increase in the variety of cheap yet attractive driftwood available. When it comes to rocks, they're often sold by weight, so lava rock is an excellent choice. It's lightweight, giving you more rock for your money, and it's generally inert, meaning it won't affect your water parameters. For smaller aquariums, I typically match lava rock with spiderwood or mopani wood. Both are budget friendly, easy to find and release minimal tannins, so they won't dramatically change your water colour. The next tip is to always consider both tank size and filtration capacity when choosing how to stock your aquarium. While a 10-gallon tank provides more flexibility than a 5-gallon, it's still easy to overstock if you're not cautious. Although fish keepers may have different preferences for how much space each fish should have, the bioload limit is more clear-cut. If your test kit detects ammonia, it's an indication your tank is either overstocked or unbalanced. It's not just about the number of fish, but also how much waste each species produces. A group of 10 chili rasboras, for example, can occupy a 10-gallon tank comfortably without significant impact on water parameters, whereas a single juvenile bristlenose pleco might generate more waste and risk ammonia spikes. Feeding is another factor. 10 male guppies given a moderate amount of food may have little effect on water quality, but overfeeding them could gradually raise ammonia levels despite having enough swimming space. Live plants can be a real game changer. Fast-growing stem or floating plants help consume excess nitrogen compounds and keep water conditions stable. With the right selection, you could maintain those same 10 guppies, offer them plentiful food, and still keep your parameters in check using the same filter. Here's recommendations for suitable plant options that can help with this, and I'll include links to my more in-depth blog posts linked in the description. The next tip is to consider your options when selecting your cleanup crew. There's plenty of options out there, and some may work better than others for your specific setup. I recommend a combination of Amano shrimp, Neocaridina shrimp and horned nerite snails. Together, they handle a broad range of algae, consume leftover food and help break down fish waste, making it easier for beneficial bacteria to break it down. If you're confident in balancing nutrients, 2 Amano shrimp, 10 to 20 Neocaridina shrimp and 2 horned nerite snails should be enough for a 10-gallon tank. Because Amano shrimp and horned nerite snails can vary drastically in price depending on location, feel free to adjust quantities such as 4 of one species and none of the other. Neocaridina shrimp typically breed to match the food the tank can support and take care of softer algae, while Amano shrimp and Clython snails tackle tougher hair algae. I use this combo in most of my aquariums, scaling it up as needed, and they always do a great job. Just remember that algae eaters often prefer leftover fish food, so cutting back on feeding during algae blooms can encourage them to eat the algae. The next tip is to upgrade your tank's filtration as soon as possible. Many starter kits include hang-on back or internal filters that rely on replaceable cartridges that have a focus on being profitable for the manufacturer rather than effective for you. Thankfully, it's usually easy to improve these filters by adding cheap 30 ppi foam and a bit of filter floss. The 30 ppi foam provides biological filtration by hosting beneficial microorganisms that keep water parameters stable, while the filter floss acts as mechanical filtration to trap debris. Rinse the foam in old tank water during maintenance, then pop it back in. The floss will need replacing once it clogs, but at least it's cheap. Another option is a simple sponge filter, which offers excellent biological filtration in smaller aquariums. For a 10-gallon tank, I recommend sizing up to a model rated for 15 to 20 gallons. Although the sponge is slightly bigger, it adds a lot of extra surface area for beneficial bacteria, helping to reduce the chances of toxic ammonia spikes. You'll need a separate air pump, and piezoelectric models are great because they're nearly silent, have no moving parts, and provide just enough airflow for a 10-gallon setup. I will leave an affiliate link for this one in the description, but a few different brands have their own piezoelectric air pumps now. My point is, don't be tricked into repeatedly buying filter cartridges. Besides the expense, replacing them strips away a large portion of beneficial bacteria each time, increasing the risk of ammonia spikes. My final tip is to adjust your maintenance routine based on your tank's individual needs rather than sticking to a strict schedule you found online. While under-maintaining an aquarium can lead to issues, over-maintaining it can also cause problems. For instance, partial water changes alter temperature, pH, and several other metrics, as well as add chlorine, while excessive gravel vacuuming can disrupt beneficial microorganisms in the substrate. A good baseline is to test your tank's water parameters weekly with a liquid test kit and trim any excess plant growth. If you like, you can also perform a 10 to 20% water change, but be cautious not to overdo it. As your tank matures, it will become more robust and able to deal with ammonia spikes by itself, reducing the need for water parameter checks. In general, tanks with fast-growing plants are more resilient and easier for beginners. Duckweed is probably the best floating plant, but water lettuce is a close second, also backed by research on its effectiveness while having simpler maintenance requirements. Studies also highlight the benefits of Rotala rotundifolia and Hygrophila polysperma for aquariums, with these being cheap, easy to find, and easy to care for, making them perfect for beginners. Anyway guys, that brings the video to an end. The 10-gallon tank size is an excellent option and offers so many use cases that you can use it in a number of different ways. I hope the video has been helpful. Thanks for watching and have a good day.